Well, here we are. I'm Tom Osman, and this is Whatever Comes Next, the podcast where I explore the world of underground and independent music making. And on today's episode, I'm talking with alternative rock duo doubleVee, comprising couple Allan Vest and Barb Vest. I suppose continuing, I guess not quite tradition, but last week I had the couple of Periscope. So it's couples for now. That's the running theme. And let's see if it continues next week. I can't remember who's next week, but I don't think it's a couple. And now I'm rambling. Anyway, doubleVee are going to be releasing their latest EP, Periscope at Midnight, on the 25th of July, which I've been enjoying very much. They have a quirky style all of their own, I would say, with a visual style in terms of videos and artwork that really complements the sound that they have created. And in fact, the duo have got 3 singles out already for the forthcoming album and 3 videos, which you can watch if you go to their website, doublevee.net, which will also give you a link to all of their various different social media platforms. One incidental thing that I need to say. Last week in my episode on Periscope, I mentioned Yowie, the band that Periscope did a split EP with recently on Skingraft Records, and I made the terrible mistake of saying that Yowie are from Alaska. They are not from Alaska, they are from Antarctica. So I wanted to correct that error. But otherwise, it was a very enjoyable chat for me to talk to Allan and Barb, as well as talking about their music, their creative process, their musical histories. We also got into various different aspects of independent music making, which I found quite informative and interesting, and I hope that you will too. And that's more or less all that needs to be said. I'm going to play one of the singles at the end of the episode. I haven't decided yet which one it's going to be, but apparently when you hear this, I have decided it. You'll hear a clip in a moment. You can follow me at Tom Osman Sounds. You can go to my website, tomosmansounds.com, to see what I'm doing with my own music making. And I guess that's it. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it somewhere else, it would be nice if you would like or subscribe or whatever the different types of engagement are, post a comment, something like that. Preferably a nice comment, but whatever you feel. And with that, I suppose there is nothing left to be said, but Allan Vest and Barb Vest of doubleVee, take it away.
You got me rolling around, frog on my hand, holy Shazam, I see you.
Hi, thanks for joining me. Very nice to have you.
Hey,
It's a pleasure.
You're in Oklahoma City, is that right?
Correct.
I am an ignorant European when it comes to American geography. Tell me about Oklahoma City.
So do you know where, like Dallas is?
Yes. Ish.
So 3 hours north from Dallas, Texas. So
Right.
kind of in the middle of America.
No, the middle of the United States, pretty much.
Yeah, now that's interesting because, I talk to various different bands, and when it comes to talking to bands in the US, quite often when I ask people about touring, they talk about going down the East Coast or the West Coast, and the middle not necessarily being, I don't know if it's just like sort of things are further spread out, but what's that like for you in terms of making music and playing and getting around? Do you find that you have kind of good places that are easy to get to around Oklahoma City?
Well, Oklahoma is kind of called the flyover state, but there are things happening here. There's several venues that we actually aren't playing live quite yet, but there are several venues in Oklahoma that are active. The pandemic really slowed everything down, but things have been picking back up. And I think more and more bands do tend to put Oklahoma City or Norman and Tulsa on the map for their stops than previously, maybe, as things are coming along.
Yeah. And so, like, having brought up Dallas, do you find yourself going down to play in Dallas as well?
Oh, we go down to visit every now and then. We have family in Dallas, but
We'll see shows in Dallas sometimes. We're not playing live ourselves. We are right now a studio band. So my former band, Starlight Mints, did a lot of touring in the aughts. So yeah.
And it's a
Well,
plan, perhaps next year.
Yeah.
We'll see how things go.
yeah, I mean, I was wondering about that because, you do have very interesting arrangements of different instrumentation. And I know between the two of you, you're playing quite a lot. So I was thinking, if you're going to be playing this live, you're either going to have a lot of triggering or pre-recorded or other people playing as well. So I can understand that that's going to be
That
more
would be,
complicated.
yeah. I mean, we actually did we practiced for a couple of years, thinking we were going to play live, had a band together, and we were a 4-piece, which, yeah. So we as a 4-piece, we did have a few backing tracks here and there.
But yeah, it was really amazing to get to mess with the songs in that context, beyond just the two of us. To have the drums and bass coming in, it was really pretty exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Though, my previous band started as a 7-piece, so we could actually pull it off for a little bit together, and then burst into a 5-piece. And we did have a few backing tracks here and there with things like strings and horns and so forth.
And I'm sorry if we seem a little bit out of it, a little delirious. We just went to Calgary for our niece's graduation and kind of getting back into the swing of things.
It's
and you're
all right.
actually our first interview.
Yeah, we haven't done it.
Haven't done this for a couple of years, and we're kind of, the tin men here getting the grease off, but
It's all good. I'm slightly delirious myself. So if you're delirious too, then we can be delirious together.
right. And you're in Glasgow, right?
I am in Glasgow. Yeah. Have you been to Glasgow before?
No, have not. Would love that. And you're Australia originally, right?
That's right. My God, you know so much about me.
We did our research. Yeah, very cool. No, you've traveled quite a bit. And yeah, your bio, when you made the little crack about your band putting out a CD when bands still did that, that gave me a laugh because, we, of course, have put out a CD with every album that we've done, but, kind of limited runs. As people that are on a limited budget, it's easier to put a CD out than vinyl, really, these days.
I think CDs are making a comeback.
I shouldn't go any further without talking about Periscope at Midnight. So I've been enjoying listening to the EP. I've been enjoying listening to all your music, actually. I like that you've got this quirky and varied musical palette. That seems a little bit pretentious to say, but, there's kind of a lot of instrumental variation in what you do. But I feel like there's this kind of cohesion of the world that you've created, which I appreciate. Yeah, your music's very charming and quirky. And yeah, so I think the EP is really cool as well. And something else as well, like I touching on the fact that you're here in what I guess is your home studio. I think it's the EP sounds really good as well. Is this the first time that you've had this home studio that you've recorded doubleVee in, or have you done that with previous releases?
Pretty much
All of them have been here.
All of them have been here, yeah, in this actually room here. I mean, to some extent. I mean,
The recording. We finished mixing and mastering at 115 recording with Wes Sharon in Norman, Oklahoma.
it's like a half hour away.
Yeah, but we do all of the recording and everything right here in this room.
Or the piano downstairs.
Right, or the piano downstairs. And when Allan moved in here, this is the former guest room. The table there was too long to even fit, so Allan and my dad had to saw it straight down the middle and put it back together inside.
Yeah, interesting. It's a very long table.
Yeah, we've made the most of this little space, I think, with being able to put out the 2 albums and now 2 EPs that were recorded, right here, which is handy. Anytime we have, inspiration or an idea, then bam, we just can come in here and record it. So it's handy and obviously a lot more, cheaper too, to not have to pay for studio space every time we, inspiration strikes,
Yeah.
here we are.
So like logistically and in terms of costs, like how big a thing was it to set this up? Has this been something you sort of built up over time, or you sort of had everything all in place?
Built up for sure. I mean, over several years. But it's very minimal. I mean, I think we could probably record six things at a time. So it's not like we're super multi-track unit here. So
With a drum kit as well?
We usually do drums like samples, and then we'll record like a hi-hat and a ride cymbal and crashes here. Just really depends on the song though.
Yeah. And something else I was also wondering, just from the recording point of view, is the vocals. Like I was thinking particularly with a track like Modern Times, where you've got various different vocals, different effects on them. Like from my limited experience with doing sort of home studio recordings, I've found it's really hard to get vocals sounding nice and rich and full. So I'm sort of intrigued, even though I don't have much in the way of the sort of technical experience and the knowledge. Like, do you have any particular sort of techniques that you've developed over the years for how to get vocals sounding nice?
Not really. I mean, it's funny. We changed. I've been using a certain mic for many years, and this album we decided to switch to the good old 7B. This mic here, the standard, and we've been loving it. We before we used, I'll actually go show you real quick. This is our old Dragonfly made by the Blue Company that we used forever, and it's still in great shape. But it picks up a lot of the room, So we decided to start using the SM7B, and I wouldn't say very many tricks. Just using a pop filter,
Some vocal doubling here and
and the
there.
cloud lifter,
That kind of thing.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess, good equipment definitely goes a long way.
yeah.
And just enjoying harmonizing and seeing, how our voices sound best or weirdest, layering them together different ways.
Yeah. Do you do quite a lot of experimenting when it comes to the recording, or do you tend to go into the recordings with a fairly fixed idea of how you want the tracks to be put together?
A little bit of both. It depends on the song generally.
Yeah, more experimenting with other things than vocals, I would say. Vocals sort of, I mean,
Yeah, we have our vocals kind of dialed in at this point, I think, being
yeah.
4 releases later.
Yeah, I don't really think about it. I mean, it's funny that we recorded this over, I mean, it's been over a year since we mixed it, this EP. So it's funny to even talk about it right now because we've been in sort of this preparing, making
the music videos and all that. So now we're kind of getting back to the brass tacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're kind of looking forward to making music again soon. And it'd be easier to talk about if if it wasn't so long ago.
No, I get that a lot with bands that I talk to. It's like by the time the whole cycle and all the processes go around, that something's ready to be released. Often, like there's other bands I know where they've already got like another release or another 2 releases they basically recorded by the time the previous release is coming out. So it's like, you tend to end up steps ahead of what you're actually putting out.
Yeah. It's funny. I was watching this new documentary about Led Zeppelin. It's like Becoming Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and it's very interesting how much they did in a year. They made really these 2 records in 1 year, and they were touring while they were making the record. So making Led Zeppelin 2, they made it all in the U.S.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And you have a new album.
Sorry, what was that?
You're So Much for All in a Day's Work album. Is that your most recent release?
No, like, so that was the first thing that I did on my own. Because basically what happened with me is that I'd been in other bands and I'd had other projects. And then I felt like I was always sort of imagining that I was going to do stuff in the future and never actually getting things finished. And then I had a bit of like a moment where I turned 40 and I thought, I have to actually get stuff done now. So I did that. And then I've had a couple of collaboration albums that I've done since then. I just, for whatever reason, I have this thing in my head now that I want to put something out every year. It's just like a kind of a rule that I've created for myself. It feels like a decent marker, but
it's hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great. Have a goal.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're getting to June, and the album that I'm working on, collaborating at the moment, is like I've sent 2 bits of music for the person I'm collaborating with. And I'm like thinking, I better get going with this because the year is slipping away.
It is.
I mean, I think it's doable, to do an album a year, but it's a lot of work. And then, I mean, you have to be in the right headspace and, things happen, and so it's like, I feel like that we could probably put a little bit more out it's just hard with 2 people, you don't have anyone else. It's just yourself. And that's how we do it. So.
And I was wondering, like, from a practical point of view, and I like to sort of ask these questions with people I interview, thinking about the time that you do dedicate to the music, like, what are you doing essentially to make money? Is the music that you make making money, or is it more you're doing other work that gives you the money to then spend the time to make music?
We are just very frugal and run a tight budget. I'd worked in public radio for many years and stepped away from that so that I could focus more fully on our music pursuits. And we have a couple of, licensing deals and things that, keep us afloat. Yeah, but it'd always be nice to have a little bit more of a security blanket. As musicians, we have, insurance through the healthcare marketplace, which is very much threatened under the current so-called administration. So it's always a little bit of a worry, like, was I an idiot to leave behind, the retirement account, the insurance through the job, but looking at what we've done, I can't let myself regret it. At this point, I'm proud of our output, regardless of where it's gotten us or where we go. So
I do a little teaching sometimes too, a little on the side.
What kind of teaching?
Primarily guitar, a little bit of, other things, songwriting, that kind of thing.
And when you say you've got licensing deals, what do you mean?
Through our publisher, our song "Your Love Is It Real" from our last album was used in Wednesday, a series on Netflix. So when you get something like that, they'll give you a little money up front, and then you get royalties kind of until you die, I suppose. So not a whole lot. It was a very, low volume song. So it wasn't something you necessarily could pick out. It was under a conversation, but, very cool. We were really grateful to be involved in it. But yeah, as things like that, they can add up. We're waiting to hear. We might Submarine number 3V, the first single might be used in the opening credits to a comedic film coming up later this year, but we haven't gotten 100% confirmation on that. But something like that would help a lot for visibility, since social media is so hard. If you don't have a huge following, then anytime you post something to say, hey, pay us if you want people to see it. And we just aren't in a point of our life where we can keep spending that kind of money trying to promote our music. So we're just kind of doing our best and appreciating, people like you that give us a chance to talk about it.
There was a couple of things from what you said that I was wanting to follow up on. So, having mentioned Wednesday, I saw also as well that you had the track Last Castaways from Songs for Birds and Bats that was on a computer game. And I think, Allan, you've had a bunch of other music that's been used from the Starlight Mints days, I think, for different TV shows or movies. I was kind of wondering, was that something that you sort of pursued, or these things fell into your lap, or it's like once you've had one thing that you sort of build up momentum with that? How was that all sort of built up?
I think in the back of my mind, I've always sort of, I don't know, sort of part of me writes music that I think it could be in a film or TV show. So, I'm happy that that's happened. So I don't know.
You've always had kind of a naturally cinematic style to your writing, even before, deliberately trying anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't write anything with that in mind per se. It's
not like we say, oh, this could be a scene in a, an action scene or a whatever. But
we occasionally have the opportunities to try out things like that. That's the other benefit of the publisher, that we once were able to try to write or record a demo song for use in Better Call Saul, and got to kind of the ending round, between 2 or 3 other songs, and didn't get it. But they said, hey, doubleVee, that was awesome. We're going to keep you in mind. Thanks for trying.
It was a cover, actually.
Yeah, we've had that happen.
Can we talk about that? Yeah, we can talk about that. It was a Harry Nilsson song, actually, a cover. For one of the very last episodes of Better Call Saul. I don't know if you've watched that at all, but it's
I haven't. I haven't watched all of it. I watched Breaking Bad and I loved it, and I started watching Better Call Saul and I really liked it, but it just got so sad. I was I need to take a break, and then I didn't get back to it.
It's very well. The ending's pretty good. It's well worth watching.
Yeah, it's heavy though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get back to it.
I should get back to it. But that would have been cool. But that is interesting to hear, that you can be in that process and you don't necessarily end up getting the music taken, but it still sort of gets you recognized, and that can hopefully sort of put you on people's
Yeah.
radar.
Yeah, there's been a few times we've had some opportunities. Once for a Disney series. I won't say the name, but
And then more recently, this public domain song
yeah,
that kind of almost got used. But yeah, several near misses in our history.
Right.
So kind of hoping maybe this next batch we'll see, because we sure do love having more people hear it.
Yeah. And sort of to that point, I was also wondering, when you have had songs picked up for like the computer game or the Wednesday TV show, have you noticed that that sort of had a tangible impact in terms of the audience?
Oh yeah, in terms of streaming numbers, I mean, both of those songs, are number 1 and number 2. So you
absolutely.
can
So
see that,
yeah,
in numbers, and then just being reached out to here and there. And we were going to do a music video for both of those songs. We still really need to get around and do one, but just haven't had time. We had a concept with a local artist that kind of fell apart for the Wednesday one, but
yeah, it's always. I mean, it's having a career in this is always the songs that you don't think are gonna take off with, or get picked up for these for TV shows, movies.
Mm.
So yeah, we kind of kicking ourselves for not making videos.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
funny, like how you never really know what people are gonna latch onto. Like I remember in a band
Yeah,
that I
for
had,
sure.
we had this song that just literally had 2 chords. It was just A minor and E minor, and it was just like a jokey song about a cow that gets killed by a woman in a slaughterhouse. And it was like, it was the only song that anybody ever wanted to hear. It was just like the simplest song. We're like, we had other things that we like spent much more effort making, but whatever hits people hits them.
mm-hmm.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. So, like, having brought up streams and streaming services, I was also wondering, like, the life of doubleVee has been within this age that we have of streaming services, but obviously you will both remember times before that. What do you think about this age of streaming services? What are kind of the pros and the cons for you?
Man, it's a hard thing to talk about.
Well, pros are visibility. I mean, there's people that are seeing our stuff and hearing our music that never would have, in the real world. So, but I mean, there's something to be said for a physical product, putting it in your car and driving down the road. And I do kind of miss that.
Competition, really, streaming has, exponentially made everyone be able to download the music, and so it's just like, before streaming you have, I mean, literally, you have
Yes,
yeah, I mean, CDs and play. I mean, you have iTunes basically. That was what I had when it was like my iTunes collection. You have your CD collection, but your iTunes collection is even more important. At
But
least
now you have streaming executives who are making millions of millions, while we
Right.
get like fractions of pennies, and then you have AI artists now, getting their solid gold record, while actual humans, are trying to get streams, and they say, "Hey, you want more streams? We'll pay for this advertising, and then we'll stream you." Or it's hard because they really want more of either money from you or to see that you've got 5 million followers, which it's hard to accrue that. But
Yeah, I was talking
doing
with
our
someone about that recently. Like I think that's the thing that sort of bothers me most. It's not so much the idea of creating music that's sort of underground and, quite niche. It's the idea that there are people there, on the streaming platforms or whatever else, who are making large amounts of money from the work of artists. That's the aspect that irritates me. It's like, does it have to be this way?
Mm-hmm. Right.
technology.
The musicians
Yeah.
should be making the most. Trickle down from there. I mean, we need our support people and all of that, but it's definitely wrong how small of a percentage goes back to the actual creators of the music.
Like, sort of interconnected with all of that, is Bandcamp, or has Bandcamp been significant for you? Because that's sort of, a friendlier model in terms of online music relating to the artists.
Yeah, we love the model and love that it does come directly to us. Can't say we've been doing gangbusters there either, but yeah, we've always appreciated that. And, Bandcamp Fridays, having the ability to make a little bit more, since that's the other thing that takes a bite out all the fees anytime you're trying to do anything. We're looking into making t-shirts and selling them via a site, and, finding out, oh, well, we'll make about $1.50 per shirt and they'll make, 14. That sounds fair, but it's easier than printing out 500 of each size and putting them, in our backyard. So.
And I guess as well, if you're not playing live, that's more difficult too. Because like I've talked to a bunch of bands who say basically that, touring and then having the merch table has become quite a significant thing for t-shirts and CDs, et cetera, et cetera. So you tend to sell things through your website, doubleVee.net.
Right. Mm-hmm. We have a shop on there that we sell doubleVee and Starlight Mints CDs through. And then we'll do t-shirts here eventually, a little bit later this year. But, merch out on the road, with venues now taking cuts from band merch, as they tour, which, I guess I can understand during the pandemic, maybe. But I mean, now it's like, what is the excuse for stealing from the band? I don't get it. So, I mean, that's one of the things we have to keep in mind at this point. It's like, for the artistry of it, we would love to be out there on the road, but, losing the amount of money and the amount of money it would cost for the privilege of playing live at this point in our lives, we have to weigh it all out.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what we're doing now, because we know it's sort of soon or never. We're not getting any younger. So.
And having brought up Starlight Mints, and also you talked about the first track on the latest EP, Submarine Number 3V, what was the particular thinking behind having the reworkings of the Starlight Mints tracks on the latest EP?
Well, I love all of the Starlight Mints material that Allan wrote, and we could spend the rest of our lives doing redo versions and love it because it's fun, with our updated technology and things he couldn't do then, and then just the interplay between us and being able to make riffs and expansions on.
Yeah,
things.
that first the original version of Submarine Number 3 was the very first Starlight Mints song recorded on tape. So it's been quite a long time. So, and back then, I mean, it was just for me, for writing purposes, was a 4-track cassette. And so I think just the ability to just having the technology to, make the song a little bit longer, but add a new verse and a new, put a bridge on it. Just some production techniques that I've kind of, learned to, I don't know, get better at over the years. It seems like kind of a no-brainer.
And that song always kind of just ended, and it always kind of felt like you could have expanded that one a little bit. So let's do it 25 years later. Why not? It was fun to kind of come up with a response verse.
Yeah, it was great.
And then produce the animated video on our own.
That took a little bit too much time.
And when did you first get into doing videos?
From the beginning. I mean,
I guess we did our first video in 2017.
Something like that. It's just always been something we've been interested in, just in travels. Like in 2012, we were fortunate enough to go to Kenya with my family, and we shot a lot of video and came home. And so I just made a movie that ended up being about 6.5 hours long.
Well,
of a lot of footage that Allan had shot. And then I used a lot of his film score underneath it. So we have this whole kind of movie version of our.
Well, Barb's father gave me kind of didn't really give me, but he's
like, here, handle this.
Yeah. Well, he gave me a camera.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like my security blanket in Africa, just sort of like, and so I just recorded everything, and we have it on Vimeo now.
Yeah.
The 6 hour,
6.5 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've always been kind of, into the combining music and imagery. I had my show Filmscapes at a movie music program on public radio for many years, and that Allan heard on the radio long before he ever met me. So we both kind of always been into the idea of, music and imagery. So getting to produce our own videos, just kind of taking it to the next step. And
another element of the visual side of the band that I wanted to ask you about was the the covers that you've got. So am I right to think that it's Grant Fuhst?
Fuhst.
Yeah.
Fuhst.
Yes, Grant
So
Fuhst.
he's done all of the EP and album covers, is that right?
He has. Yeah, there's a couple, I guess, of singles that we, for whatever reason, did something else. But yeah, this most recent run, all 3 singles and the album are his work. And he's an amazing artist based in Salt Lake City, who also happens to be my uncle.
Aha. Because I think that's another, talking about kind of like the continuity of the project. I think the fact that you do have this familiarity of the artwork is another thing that kind of holds it all together and makes it feel like it is part of the same world.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nice.
I appreciate you pointing that out. I think that his work does tie it together, and it's really eerie how well our work and his just complements each other. And the musical submarine, I mean, he just did such a good job with that. As we were discussing it, said, well, something, the strings on the outside or keyboard on the outside, something, and you've seen what he came up with, and it's just, we're really, really lucky to get to work with someone of his caliber, for sure.
And thinking about, like the concept that you have for doubleVee, maybe you can go back and tell me about how this all started. So how you mentioned that you're sort of aware of each other, I think, before you met each other. How did you meet, and how did you actually decide to start making music together?
Well, we met each other and
It was conservatory at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Conservatory, a music venue in Oklahoma City. He was there. It was a benefit for Haiti, victims of the Haiti disaster.
and a former bandmate of mine, Derek Brown, who is now with the Flaming Lips, introduced us.
You were chatting with
Yeah.
Derek. Allan had just moved from Texas to Oklahoma City, like not long before that. And he was chatting with Derek, and I knew Derek, so went up and Derek introduced us. So we spoke briefly that evening, but
I thought she was like 21 years old at the time, and you were probably 30.
Well, I'm 5 years younger. So
Yeah.
whatever the math is there, low lighting, whatever. So yeah, I felt a little awkward at the time because I knew who he was, but was not familiar with Starlight Mints music. So just felt a little.
You had taken pictures though.
Right. That was later.
No,
Was it
it was before.
April? Okay.
So it's like
Anyway, so then like 6 weeks after that, there was another show at another venue. And that's when he found out the Filmscapes connection. He was with another friend who like pointed me out. Oh, that's Barb. She used to have Filmscapes. And he's like, oh, so we started talking, and he was staying with a mutual friend. So we hung out that evening, and he was playing Ennio Morricone for me. And I never really had anyone sit down and play film music for me or understand even what I was talking about. And that ended up being
the rest was history.
Yeah. Let's condense it a little bit there. That was pretty much it. He found the station website and emailed me the next day, and I said I was going to a color music show at VZD's. Hint, hint. And he walked in, and pretty much it. And now we've been together 15 years and be 10 years married in October. So yeah. And then just the whole music thing. Yeah, we just. I guess
she comes from a musical family, so.
Right. Yeah.
I don't.
Well, my mother's mother, was a composer. She used to write music, songs with a little cassette player there, piano bench. And so we had a bunch of those cassettes. And one of the earliest things we did with it was Allan orchestrated one of the songs, and then I sang backing vocals. And this is my grandmother that passed away of a heart attack when she was like 57. So we took it over there to my mom, put headphones on her, and she suddenly hears, her mother's voice, the song, with her daughter harmonizing, with her deceased grandmother, and all the instrumentation and stuff that Allan had added.
Strings and things like that.
Right. So then we did like Little Dream of Me. We did a little duet as a Christmas gift. And then just like, why don't we start dabbling with original material? And Allan has multiple tries with just little snippets of ideas. We could
more than snippets.
Yeah, snippets and lengthier. Right. I mean, we could harvest that for 30. Just picked out the first 3 we wanted to tackle and released some demos not that long after.
That was Jack the Writer,
Mhm.
Dangerous World, and
Ruckus Minds.
Ruckus Minds. Yeah.
And that first album that you did was a
Here we
concept
are.
album, right? Sort
It
of.
kind of turned into that.
It
Yeah.
it definitely turned into a concept.
Yeah.
It was never thought up like at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
The Moonlit Fables of Jack the Writer. Yeah, would love to do like a musical theater version of it someday, kind of flesh it out more. Would be fun. Both really love musical theater, so it'd be great to get involved in that sometime.
Another thing that I wanted to ask you about, because I have this kind of like geeky thing that when I'm listening to people's music, I like to go like, who are like the particular different people that influence them? So I feel like there are probably lots of influences going into your music, but like particular things from certain different doubleVee tracks that I think I hear. I reckon I hear the Jam, the Beatles, and the Pixies. Are these all somewhere in your musical universe?
Absolutely.
the Jam, not
Yeah.
so much for me,
Yeah.
but the other two, yeah, for sure.
Definitely the
Yeah.
other two for
Yeah.
sure.
I-
But we've heard the Jam referred to us before too.
Really?
The Beatles and Pixies, yeah, as far as Beatles, just, a little bit of quirkiness in the lyrics here and there, and then just playing with their vocals and harmonies and things like that. I could see that. And then
I'm trying not to
Pixies,
give a
yeah.
Jam song.
It's the one particular one that kind of got to me was I think it's called Start. It's the What You Give Is What You Get song that
What You Deserve?
No,
What?
I'm confused too.
Okay.
like that.
Wait.
It's a particular song by the Jam.
So you're humming the Jam.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm humming the Jam,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
your song.
Right.
I was like, that it's not like kind of the
right.
Jam in general. It was like there was that particular Jam song, and I thought that Jam song reminds me of or at least some of your music reminds me of that Jam song. That was the thing. So it was like,
Okay. We'll have to check that out.
What is the name of the Jam song? Just out of curiosity.
I think it's called Start. I think that's actually the name of the track.
Okay. I just wanted to.
Yeah, like so. And are there other kind of like artists, bands, maybe not even music? Is there anything in particular that really stands out that had a big impact on where you went with doubleVee?
The cinematic sensibility is the main overarching thing for our music rather than a particular, person or band that's inspiring us. I think just the idea of music that brings up imagery.
And also, a lot of our songs, not a lot, but I mean, I would say like a half of our songs originated from, a different time. Like some of the ideas are from like the 90s, some of the ideas from the 2000s, like it's just stuff that was sitting around and we're like, oh, that idea was good, so it's hard to say where or how they started. I don't remember or recall, so.
It varies song by song.
Yeah.
Because I mean, some of the songs on the EP are brand.
And they always change and morph, once we, get our hands on them. So
That's true.
but that's, love the Beatles, love the Pixies, for sure.
And
love to be included with those names.
And with the fact that well, yeah, no, I mean, it's as I say, I think you've obviously got like a real kind of ear for melody and for songwriting. You've got some very memorable and hooky tracks. I mean, I think like out with the latest EP, one of the tracks of yours that I really like a lot that I've been going back to is Landlord of the Flies from Songs for Birds and Bats. I really like that.
That's an oddball song for us, for sure. Like I love that. I love that one too.
So what's your reaction to that song?
Well, I think part of what I liked about it was you've got this. I mean, I'm curious to know what the instrumentation is you're using. You've got some kind of synths that's carrying the main melody.
There's like sort of a theremin sounding something going on there. I don't recall what it was, whether it was like a contact instrument or not. And then some drum loops on that one.
That was a specifically motivated song kind of at the time. But
that one took a long time. Like we had the music and we were layering, but we just we couldn't get it on the lyrics. We know we like the music, and just it took us literally a couple months.
I don't think it was that long.
I mean, I remember going, no, finally.
Yeah, our lyrics are done via Google Docs. So we'll just kind of
Yeah.
cancel each other out or put ideas and different colors and whatever and kind of boil it down.
Yeah, we
So-
have a lot of fun with Google Docs with
I use Google Docs
But-
a lot in my work. So do you tend to
Right.
to write together the lyrics? That's the way that you do it. You kind of go back and forth.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everything is very collaborative as far as that.
yeah.
There's some songs that end up being more one or the other, but it's generally
Yeah.
very, very collaborative on lyrics.
Yeah. I mean, her office is upstairs and I'm, usually here and, we're on Google Docs together, writing notes,
Yeah, we're
like
chatting,
we're either in the chat box in Google Docs or chatting within the actual doc. But yeah, we've got a process for sure.
Yeah. Used to be scraps of paper around the house with little, just lyric ideas that we would use someday.
And outside of the directly making music for doubleVee, do you have some, or writing songs for doubleVee, do you have some kind of regular writing practice that you do, whether it's journaling or creative writing?
I mean, really just, recording the ideas.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we have a regular idea, although we both, anytime any kind of idea comes to us, we write it down or on our phones or something. We're kind of always kind of creatively thinking in terms of things that could work for a song or.
Oddly enough, I've been using my phone. My phone's just built-in recorder for just spontaneity, whereas in the past I used to okay, go to Pro Tools, hit record,
Yeah, it makes it so easy.
Yeah.
Phone, just hit record anytime you have a little idea. Got several of those.
I need to get organized on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And do you ever come up with ideas and you think this is cool, but it doesn't really fit for doubleVee, or do you always find that you can channel that into that world?
I think we could channel it. I've also thought, it's fun to do other things that, maybe at some point under a name that isn't doubleVee, we can do, some other genres and just try some other things.
Yeah, we definitely have so much material that to pick from if we wanted to do.
Yeah.
To do that.
Just having the time and the ability, to justify using that time.
So it makes it a little bit hard too, is that we have so much material that's hard to actually commit, It's once we commit, we do commit. We have a sort of a process of that, but it's it's sometimes it's I wish we could work on that song, And
yeah, there's a never ending font of ideas from his side, and then just, together the new ideas that we come up with. But yeah, I do wish we could just, not have the other stressors, but, it's reality. So
Yeah.
we just feel really lucky.
Life has to be lived outside of the music.
Right.
Yeah. But we're lucky because, Allan, his prostate cancer diagnosis, that could have gone really south, but, found it quickly, got things taken care of. We're just really aware that things could have ended way differently. We're grateful to even have the chance to put out new music and talk to people about it.
No, I didn't know about this. So what can you tell me a bit about that? When did that happen and what was the process there?
I'll let you talk about it.
2022, pretty much a couple of months after Treat Her Strangely, our album came out. Allan's PSA had been rising, and that's the number that all men should be aware of. Anyone with a prostate over the age of 40. And some insurance companies say, oh, wait till you're 50 or 60. That's BS. When you're 40, find out what that number is.
It's definitely a genetic thing.
It's a genetic, definitely genetic, but it can also come out of the blue. And my father had it. My grandfather died of it. So when Allan and I got together, just kind of one of my general questions, hey, what's your PSA number? What's that? I have no idea. He hadn't had health care for many years. So we took him to a clinic and got a baseline number, which was, okay for his age, but it crept up and crept up.
And then it just, boom, went up.
Yeah, went up dramatically. So got diagnosed a couple months after that. And then December 2022, had surgery. And it was all found early enough. He had been going back in for checks every 6 months to make sure that PSA number stays undetectable, meaning it didn't spread anywhere. They got it in time. And
shout out to Dr. Cookson.
Yes, that's
Amazing.
Stevenson Cancer Center. Really,
he's one of the best.
Fantastic team. Again, just grateful for Obamacare and having health insurance over here, that musicians deserve health care too. But yeah, it was scary, but we were grateful to get it taken care of. But then, yeah, just coming out of all that and feeling like, okay, we think we're clear. Let's dabble. Let's make some music and see what comes on from there. And it just ended up, well, let's go ahead rather than trying to get 20 songs together for an album. Let's get 6 done, put them out there. We're ready. We want to share. So that's what we did.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm very glad to hear for you both that you managed to get to that so soon. It's just you make that point. I'm like, I'm 43, so I'm definitely within that bracket. And I've got friends of around about my age, and unfortunately, people in their 40s, cancer is kind of seeming to become more of a frequent topic. So, yeah, definitely something.
And with technology, they can find it quicker.
Right. You just have to go for the checkups. Yeah. It's hard. We get also, busy or just think, oh, that's not going to affect me. But
I would have never thought. I mean, I had no symptoms. I didn't know anything, and it was just a number, and then did biopsy, and then, all right, we got to get surgery done. So, and it was all good.
Yeah. Please go see your doctor and basic blood work.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Tonight's fine. It's not, wait, it's a little later there. Okay, fine. Tomorrow's fine. But yeah. PSA, that's a basic number. Every
easy
prostate owner should know.
Yeah. So
I know that is very, very good advice. Thinking about the release of the EP. So obviously at the time we're doing this interview, it's still another 6 weeks away. What have you got? I think that's right. Is it the 25th of July?
Yeah. I'm expressing my wow, I can't believe it's that going to take that long to get out. So
it's been a process.
Yeah. So given the fact that you're not going to be playing shows, if I've got that right, what are you sort of doing? What have you got lined up in terms of kind of building up towards the release, and then once the EP comes out?
Well, we have one more single and video coming out a little later this month, and then a lyrics video coming out around the release of the video of the EP. And we're kind of trying to generate more short form content, that kind of thing. Social media really hasn't been our forte, and we know we need to kind of jump in there a little bit more. We'd like to just continue creating music, but we're kind of at a transitional phase right now, kind of seeing what's next, and might potentially be moving from this house. We've been here for a long time, so right now we're just grateful to get the music out at all. It's just a miracle to us to even get to do it. So we'll just celebrate it being out and take it a day at a time from there, I guess.
And do you have fixed at the moment when the next video and single are going to come out?
June 27th is the third single, and the video will probably be a couple days before that. We haven't heard yet where or who might be premiering that, but we did, just self-shoot, self-produce, the videos for all 3 singles. Just needed to be
budget.
Yeah, budget, streamline things. So we had a good time doing that. So this latest one was shot in mainly some green screen, and then downtown tunnels here in Oklahoma City, just underneath all the buildings downtown. There's a little tunnel system with some neat lighting, and we actually ran into another band when we were down there shooting, exchanged contact information. Can't wait to see what they did down there, and they can see what we did.
Oh, that's funny.
See who wins. Yeah, it's great.
Well,
you're amazing. We really appreciate you talking to us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for the time.
Yes, and if you're ever in Oklahoma, come see us.
Nice. If I ever am in Oklahoma, I will definitely do that. Barb, Allan.
Please do.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
Thank you for the
Tom.
music.
What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All the best.
Bye.
to find you again. I know you're gonna be on a submarine, but what can I do? What can I do? What do we do?
I saw you on the Periscope, looking right at me. Torpedo